There is a Facebook profile sitting on my computer screen right now. The profile of a woman I had never seen before last Tuesday. Her name is Vanessa. She has 2 children, a son, 11, a daughter, 8. They both have my husband's eyes. I have been married to Daniel for 12 years. We have 2 children of our own, a house, a mortgage, a Christmas card list. Vanessa has been married to Daniel for 12 years too. They have a house, a mortgage. She just doesn't know about me. Let me tell you about Rachel and Daniel. Rachel was 41 years old, an elementary school teacher in a small town in Connecticut, the kind of woman who graded papers at the kitchen table while dinner cooked, the kind of mother who chaperoned every field trip, the kind of wife who still made her husband's lunch every morning, 12 years into the marriage, even though he told her she didn't have to. Daniel was 44, a regional sales executive for a pharmaceutical company. Charming, tall, the kind of man who remembered everyone's birthday and brought wine to every dinner party. Rachel's friends adored him. They had 2 children, Lily, 10 years old, with Daniel's blue eyes and Rachel's stubbornness. Ethan, 7 years old, with Daniel's hazel eyes and a missing front tooth. Their life looked like a stock photo of suburban happiness. A 2-story house with a blue door, a golden retriever named Biscuit, a minivan. Rachel's mother lived 10 minutes away and helped with the kids on Tuesdays. Daniel traveled for work, 3 days a week, sometimes 4, Pennsylvania mostly, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, sometimes Harrisburg. He'd been doing this since they got married. Rachel was used to it. He always called at 9 p.m. when he was on the road, always remembered to ask about her day before talking about his own, always sent flowers on their anniversary, even when he was 3 states away. He was, by every visible measure, a good husband, a devoted father, a loving partner. He was also, as Rachel was about to discover, an extraordinary actor. Because Daniel had a second life, a second wife, a second house, 2 more children, a second Christmas card list. And he had been maintaining both of them perfectly for 12 years. It happened on a Tuesday morning. The kids were at school. Daniel was in Pittsburgh. Rachel had the morning off, teacher in service day. She made a cup of coffee, sat at the kitchen table, and opened Facebook the way 50-year-old women do at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday, and just to scroll, just to see what her cousins were doing. Facebook had a suggestion for her. People you may know. The first profile in the suggestion list was a woman named Vanessa Hartley. Rachel didn't recognize the name, but the profile picture caught her eye. It was a family photo. A woman with long dark hair holding a coffee mug. A boy of about 11, tall for his age, with hazel eyes and a square jaw. Where a girl of about 8 with brown wavy hair and blue eyes. Standing behind them with his arm around the woman's shoulders was Daniel. Rachel stared at the photo for 45 seconds without breathing. Then she clicked the profile. The profile was public. Vanessa was a mortgage broker in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, 46 miles from one of Daniel's regular sales territories. Near her cover photo was a wedding picture, Daniel in a tuxedo, Vanessa in a white dress, smiling at each other under a flowered arch. The wedding photo was dated June 14th, 12 years ago. The same year Rachel and Daniel got married. Rachel scrolled, a post from last month, 12 years today with my best friend. A post from 6 months ago. Daniel surprised me with flowers again. How did I get so lucky? A post from a year ago. Mason scored his first soccer goal. Dad caught it on video. Mason, eyed the 11-year-old, born exactly 7 months after Rachel and Daniel's wedding. Rachel did the math twice. Then she screenshotted everything. Daniel came home Friday night. He brought Rachel a small bouquet of yellow tulips, her favorite, kissed her on the forehead, asked about Lily's piano recital, listened with full attention while she described it. That night, after the kids were asleep, Rachel waited until Daniel was settled on the couch with his glass of wine. Then she sat down across from him, opened her laptop, and turned the screen toward him. Vanessa's Facebook profile was open. The wedding photo was visible. Daniel looked at the screen. He looked at Rachel. Then he laughed. A genuine, surprised laugh. "Rach," he said, "what is this?" Rachel didn't speak. "This is photoshopped," he said. "Or, it's not me. Look at the jaw, the angle. Honey, this isn't me." He smiled, that warm Daniel smile that had melted resistance for 25 years. "Oh, are you okay? Have you been getting enough sleep?" Rachel showed him the second photo, the third, the fourth. Mason's birthday party, Daniel cutting a cake at Vanessa's house, Daniel and Vanessa at a beach in Delaware. "Rachel," Daniel's voice got softer, concerned. "Sweetheart, I think we need to talk to someone. This isn't healthy. You're seeing things. I love you. I have always loved you, but I'm worried about you." He reached across the couch and took her hands. His eyes were wet, real tears. "I think we should call your mother, maybe see Dr. Patel. You haven't been yourself since your father passed." Rachel's father had passed away 2 years ago. Daniel had given the eulogy. Now he was using her grief as the diagnosis for the photo of him at another woman's wedding. Rachel pulled her hands back. She closed the laptop. She stood up. "You're right," she said. "I haven't been sleeping well. I'll call Dr. Patel tomorrow." Daniel exhaled, pulled her into a hug. "It's okay, baby. We'll figure this out." Rachel hugged him back, smiled into his shoulder. And in that moment, in that perfect performance, she made a decision that would take 6 months to execute. The next morning, Rachel called Marcus Williams. Marcus was a divorce attorney in Hartford. He had been her cousin's lawyer 6 years ago. Rachel had only met him once at a Christmas party. But she remembered what her cousin had said about him. He's the kind of lawyer who finds money men think they hid. Rachel told Marcus everything. The Facebook profile, the wedding photo, the gaslighting, Daniel's reaction. Marcus was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Mrs. Bennett, I want to ask you something carefully. Are you sure you want to do this?" Rachel said yes. "Then here's what we're going to do. You're not going to tell anyone, not your mother, not your sister, not your best friend. You're going to act like everything is fine. And while you do that, we are going to find every single dollar he has." Marcus connected her with Diane Keller, a forensic accountant who specialized in marital fraud. Diane spent 6 weeks combing through Daniel's financial records, bank statements, credit cards, investment accounts. Rachel had access to all of it. She'd been the one paying the bills for 12 years. What Diane found was extraordinary. Daniel's pharmaceutical sales job paid $140,000 a year, but the deposits to the joint account showed only $92,000. The other $48,000 went somewhere else. Diane found the somewhere else, a separate checking account at a different bank, opened in 2012. 1 year before Rachel and Daniel's wedding. 12 years of $48,000 deposits. $576,000, and most of which went to Vanessa's mortgage. Rachel's house, Vanessa's house, both paid for by the same man, but only one was paid for by Rachel's husband. The other was paid for by Rachel's life. At week 8, Marcus suggested something Rachel hadn't expected. "You should reach out to Vanessa." Rachel said no immediately. She didn't want to traumatize another woman. She didn't want this to be Vanessa's problem. But Marcus explained, "Vanessa is also a victim. She has rights too. And if she doesn't know, she can't protect her children. Also, strategically, 2 wives in one courtroom is more powerful than one." Rachel thought about it for 3 days. Then she sent Vanessa a Facebook message. "Hi, Vanessa. My name is Rachel. I am the wife of the man you also believe to be your husband. I have proof. I am not asking for anything from you, but I think you deserve to know. I will be in Lancaster on Saturday if you want to meet." Vanessa replied within an hour. 1 word. "Yes." They met at a quiet coffee shop in Lancaster. Vanessa cried for 40 minutes before she could speak. Rachel held her hand across the table. 2 strangers bound by the same lie. Vanessa had photos too, 12 years of them. Hospital photos when Mason was born. Daniel holding Chloe at her christening. Daniel coaching Mason's soccer team. He had been at all of it. Every birthday, every recital, every Christmas morning. How? Vanessa kept asking. How was that even possible? Rachel had figured it out. Daniel's pharmaceutical company had given him regional sales territory autonomy, meaning he set his own schedule. 3 days a week with one family, 4 days with the other. Holidays alternated, weekends rotated. A spreadsheet of 2 lives executed flawlessly for 12 years. Vanessa asked Rachel, "What do we do now?" Rachel said, "We finish this. Together." 6 months passed. In that 6 months, Rachel did 3 things. She continued to be the perfect wife, made his lunch, folded his laundry, asked about his sales numbers, kissed him goodbye every Monday morning. She and Vanessa coordinated through encrypted messaging. They compared notes, built a complete timeline of his deception, documented every lie. And Marcus prepared the legal apparatus. 2 divorce filings, both naming the same defendant, both with full asset disclosure. A custody evaluation request because 4 children deserved clarity about who their father actually was. A criminal complaint for bigamy in 2 states. And one final document, a notice to Daniel's employer because using a company car to maintain an undisclosed second household was a violation of his contract. Everything was filed simultaneously. 3 jurisdictions, USR, 2 states. One Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Rachel chose the Tuesday because Daniel would be home with her that day. She wanted him to be there when his world ended, not on the road, not in a hotel, in their house, the one she had paid for. The morning of the filing, Rachel made him breakfast, eggs the way he liked them, coffee with 1 sugar, a whole wheat toast with butter, not margarine. She sat across from him at the kitchen table and watched him eat. He told her a story about a colleague in Pittsburgh, and she laughed at the right moments. Then her phone buzzed, the notification she had been waiting for. Marcus had filed everything. Rachel looked up at Daniel. She smiled, the same smile she had used to hug him after the gaslighting. "Daniel," she said, "there's a delivery coming for you in about 10 minutes. He looked confused. What kind of delivery? Rachel took a sip of her coffee. Process service. The doorbell rang at 9:14 a.m. Daniel answered it. Rachel watched from the kitchen as a man in a polo shirt handed him a thick manila envelope and asked him to confirm his name. Daniel said yes, took the envelope, closed the door, walked back to the kitchen, set the envelope on the counter. He looked at Rachel, confused. Rachel said, "Open it." Daniel opened it. Beat. Silent moment, 5 seconds of nothing. Let the visual carry it. The first document was the divorce filing from Rachel. And the second was the divorce filing from Vanessa. The third was the bigamy charge. The fourth was the notice to his employer. Rachel watched his face. She had spent 6 months imagining this moment. The face she had imagined was rage, or denial, or theatrical sobbing. What she got was something better. His face went still, like a clock that had stopped. He read the first page, then the second. By the third page, he was no longer reading. He was just looking at the words. He looked up at Rachel. "Warwick, how long have you known?" Rachel said, 6 months. He sat down at the kitchen table, put his hands flat on the wood. "Vanessa, does she know?" "She knows everything. She was at Marcus's office last week. She filed at the same time I did." Daniel's hands started to shake, not theatrically, real. "Oh, Rachel, I need you to listen." Rachel stood up from the table. She looked at him. At the man who had given the eulogy at her father's funeral, the man who had cried real tears while telling her she was hallucinating. She said, "You had 12 years to talk. You used them lying." Then she walked out of the kitchen, got into her car, AITA, and drove to pick up the kids from school. Daniel pleaded no contest to the bigamy charge. He received 18 months suspended sentence and a felony record. He lost his job within 48 hours of the employer notice. The divorce settlements were both finalized within 6 months. Rachel kept the house in Connecticut. Vanessa kept the house in Pennsylvania. Daniel was ordered to pay child support to 4 children in 2 states on a salary he no longer had. He moved in with his brother in Ohio. Last Rachel heard, he was selling cars at a Honda dealership. The kids took it harder than the adults. Lily refused to see him for a year. Ethan still asks why his father has another family. Rachel doesn't have an answer that makes sense to a 7-year-old. Mason and Chloe, Vanessa's kids, were old enough to understand that their father had been pretending. Younger Chloe asked Vanessa if Mason and her had a different dad now. Rachel and Vanessa text occasionally. Their kids met once, a tentative dinner at a neutral restaurant. Lily and Mason are roughly the same age. They have the same eyes. It was awkward, but it happened. Rachel went back to teaching that fall. Her colleagues asked how she was. She said, "I'm okay, better than I was when I didn't know." Here is what Chloe has learned from Rachel's story. People think the worst betrayals are the loud ones, the screaming, the throwing, the dramatic exits. The worst betrayals are the quiet ones. The man who kisses you goodnight every Sunday and another woman every Monday. The woman who cries at your wedding while planning her affair. The friend who toasts your engagement and tells the group chat you're a fool. The loud betrayals announce themselves. The quiet ones eat your life from the inside while you're still smiling at them across the breakfast table. Rachel was lucky. Facebook suggested a friend request. But how many people are still smiling at someone they shouldn't be trusting? Tell Chloe. Tomorrow's story is about a stolen project, a fired employee, and a quiet revenge that took 18 months to build. Subscribe. The silence ends here.